Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Javihari Javihari
His divine grace, Lacey, Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prabhupada,
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare
Krishna.
Shri Guru and Shri Garanga. Om Agyanadvanandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chatur Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Om Vishnu Vraya Krishna Prasthapute Shrimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Gramane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vicharne Nirvishesha Nivadi Paschaya.
So first of all, we'd like to welcome His Holiness Prahlananda Swami Maharaj, very senior disciple. I hope you all read his short bio. We posted on our WhatsApp group. And Maharaj, just a short introduction. This is Israel. He's practicing for some time. Now he's so serious and he's getting initiated by Adikarta Prabhu very soon. And this is Akshay Prabhu. He came, 1 month? Something like that, from New Jersey. And he's very seriously taken. This is Bhakta Mike. Where are you from? I forgot. Nevada. Nevada. Maharaj used to go there. Your mom used to live or something like that.
No, I used to go visit there. In Denver.
Oh, okay.
And also, we sometimes, like Katma,
Hmm.
we go up and the place where they do skiing, we have programs there.
Oh,
Aspen?
that's nice.
The,
Lake Tahoe? Lake Tahoe?
no, Aspen.
Aston?
Yes.
Okay.
So Mike, even though he's new, like what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? 2 weeks. Sorry, I should keep track. But 2 weeks, but he's ready to give his life for Krishna. So it's
Okay.
like that. And this is Bhakta Max. He adopted brahmachari dress. He wants to stay brahmachari all life and he wants to do it. He's here 2 months. 2 months. And this is Bhakta Kevin. He's from nearby, High Spring.
High Springs, yeah.
I don't know if you know High Spring. Not too far. And we have also Lakshman is here. Lakshman, I don't see him. He lives also here. He just went to see his family. Maharaj, there is Travis. He wants to move in. He just don't know when to move in. Something is blocking him. He wants to move in.
Hare Krishna to all you wonderful devotees. Please accept my obeisances, especially you, Maharaj. My mind is there. My mind is there, and I'll be there soon.
Well, I wish my mind was here.
Hey, Maharaj was really welcoming your idea. Thank you. And David, are you there? Okay. And we have a lot of newcomers. Oh, Bodhi. Yes. He stayed here, Maharaj, 1 month. He
Hare
got
Krishna.
and he wants to come back for the rest of his life.
Okay.
Maybe. Thinking about it.
Hopefully
But
not.
you're moving in this weekend. I mean, this month, end of month.
Possibly a few minor setbacks. I'll talk to you about that later and personally.
Okay. Thank you, Bodhi.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, give us some. You are long time in this movement. So my question is,
Long
what
time.
keeps you? Well, 66. That's long time. It's 2024.
Yeah, for our little lifespan that we have, it seems like life is a long time.
What kept you going with positive attitude and serving such a nicely this movement? We want some of your tips so we can go on.
Well, I guess there's three things: bliss, knowledge, and eternity.
Oh, Satchidananda. Okay. Bliss knowledge. Yeah, you can make notes. It's good. Thank you.
Otherwise, that's what everyone's looking for, is knowledge of how to be as happy as possible for as long as possible. So Krishna and his name are non-different. Krishna, hearing about Krishna is non-different. And Krishna is made out of unlimited bliss and pure consciousness eternally. And that's what it, if we come in contact with Krishna, and what could be better than that?
That's true.
In the beginning, we have everything is theoretical because we don't even know who we are. So as I've been repeating lately, the Prabhupada says in the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, the Prabhupada was presenting in the very beginning that one lady approached him and asked him to make a recommendation for a Bhagavad Gita in English. And Prabhupada said out of the 600 or 700 translations in English at that time, he couldn't recommend any of them. Because he said none of them touch on the spirit of the Bhagavad Gita. And then he explains that if you want to take a medicine, you have to take it according to the label on the bottle, according to the physician. You can't take it whimsically if you want it to be effective. So the spirit of the Bhagavad Gita, in other words, what the Bhagavad Gita represents, is that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very simple. Which means, for instance, that everything that we see and everything we don't see all comes from Krishna. Now, that knowledge, in other words, if Krishna is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whatever he speaks is perfect. And if we want to understand what Krishna is saying, then we have to hear it in parampara. Otherwise, if Krishna, whatever he says is perfect, he knows everything past, present, future, then there's nothing to add, there's nothing to subtract from what he says. And then Prabhupada says that every one of us, we all have a relation with Krishna eternally. And therefore, the Krishna consciousness is meant to reawaken our original relation with Krishna. Now, not only, to go back a little bit, not only does Krishna say he's God, but all the, as Arjuna says, that Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shasutam Divyam, Adidevam Jam Vibhu, Ahustvam Rishya Sarve, Devashara Naradastata, Asito Devlo Vyasa, Swayam Chadavistame. Also, Narada says he's Krishna's God, Devala, Asita, Ramanujacharya, Nivarka, Madhvacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, later on Saraswati, Thakur, and others. They all proclaim that Krishna is God. And in the Brahma Samhita and the Puranas, such as Srimad Bhagavatam, they also explain that Krishna is God. Now, we're not familiar necessarily in the Western world with the authenticity or the authority of for instance, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, or even Brahma Samhita. People are not familiar. But still, if we want to take advantage of the Bhagavad Gita, as Prabhupada said, at least theoretically, we have to accept that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We shouldn't blindly accept, and we shouldn't blindly reject. Because after all, practically speaking, in the material world, we don't know anything. Because we don't even know who we are. And at least in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, for instance, Krishna says that he's going to explain to Arjuna something not out of sentiment or purely out of knowledge, theoretical knowledge, but he'll explain things practically. With the opening instruction to Arjuna that Denosmin Ita Dehe Karmaram Yovanam Dura Ita Dahantara Praptira Dirya Satra Namuyate. Well, even before he gets into that, well, actually later on when he gets to that, he explains to Arjuna why he made Arjuna the first recipient to hear the Bhagavad Gita. And there he says, Bhaktosime Sakha Cheti Rahasyam Hitan Uttamam. Because you're my devotee and my friend. Saevayam Maya Tedya Yogo Prakta Puratana Bhaktosime Sakha Cheti Rahasyam Hitan Uttamam. The Krishna is going to speak the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna because Arjuna is Krishna's friend and he's a devotee. Mm-hmm. So these are the qualifications for us to understand Bhagavad Gita. To understand what Krishna is saying is that we should at least be favorable towards Krishna, and we should be willing to carry out what he says in order to find out what he says is true or not. Now, no one is being forced, generally speaking, to follow Bhagavad Gita. We're here voluntarily, and in order to satisfy if we're inquisitive to know what the truth is, or if we have some experience in Krishna consciousness that indicates to us that there may be some truth in the Bhagavad Gita, or we may accept that Krishna is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, at least theoretically, being willing to accept it. But then one also has to be willing to understand, first of all, that under the illusory energy that no one can know perfectly what Krishna consciousness is. Therefore, there's a certain amount of faith that has to be there in the beginning in order to follow it. That faith, as I said, doesn't have to be blind. We have to at least be willing to admit that I don't know who I am. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know where everything came from. These are all I can do is theoretically accept what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita if I want to follow his instructions and then see if it works. whether it actually makes a change in my experience. Am I getting more happy? Sometimes, not all the time, because Krishna doesn't explains that there's going to be times where we're going to be tested. Because without being tested, and the material world is supposed to be a place where there's miserable. And if someone thinks it's a happy place, then they're probably in the wrong movement. Because if people think it's a happy place, so why bother wasting your time trying to become happy if you think you're already happy? And this is a nice place. Why would you want to leave a happy place? Go to some other place. So if we accept the process and we try and follow it, and sometimes at the beginning it says utsahamai, we get a little bit enthusiastic. Sometimes Krishna may give us a higher taste, and we think, well, okay, works. But then the tests come. Because the whole idea, the whole process of Krishna consciousness is to take shelter of Krishna. Because right now we're taking shelter of this body and things in relation to this body. Because without Krishna's shelter, we're little tiny souls, we're in a big universe. To us, it's a big universe. And we need shelter. So we'll take shelter of this body, first of all. We'll take shelter of our bank balance, our family. We're living in America, so everything's all right. Promised land. And some people think, everything's going to be all right now. We're going to make everything great. So with that attitude, of course, one will not be very much interested in exploring a different realm of consciousness because, it's nice. There's pizza, there's ice cream, there's the movies, and so many other things that go on.
Familiar.
What do I need this austerity for? I can just dial up, the pizza will come. Here you gotta wait, who knows when it's gonna come.
Shoot.
And we're not experiencing bliss all the time. Sometimes we think, well, why am I put in this situation? At home, my dog loved me, even no one else did. But my dog seemed to be pretty faithful. He always wagged my tail whenever he saw me. And here I heard people are criticizing me sometimes. I'm never good enough here. Not only that, but I learned I'm eternally subordinate. There's no upward movement in the spiritual world. I remain eternally a servant. I never joined this movement to become a servant. I mean, it's a good idea, but maybe that's a pretty low position that we've been taught, becoming a servant. That's when your self-identity is impeded. What do they call that? When your self-identity is some kind of identity complex or something. Self-esteem. You have low self-esteem.
Yeah.
You can't get a job, so you work at McDonald's as a servant. So here you become, a servant, all on theory, all on a theoretical basis. You're going to get bliss, knowledge, eternity. And you're going to meet Krishna. Krishna is unlimitedly beautiful. I have no idea what that means. What unlimited means, I don't even know. Because my brain, fries at the thought that someone's unlimitedly beautiful. He knows everything, past, present, future. I can't even remember, sometimes people's names. He knows everyone's name. How is that possible? How can there be such a person? When you get confused sometimes, he's in everyone's heart and everyone's, you're in a room and everyone has a different opinion, and you're in everyone's heart and everyone has a different opinion. How can you keep track of it all? And yet he doesn't even sleep. He must be exhausted. So from our materialistic point of view, it's all quite extraordinary. It's kind of, that's when we read Krishna book and we think it's like a fairy tale, it's something that, you know, should be reserved to reading to the children at night, so they can sleep peacefully hearing about Dhenukasura, Agasura, all the Krishna killing the demons, so they can go to sleep and think, the demon comes, Krishna will kill it. Because it's way beyond our experience. And not only that, but you know, what's being promised to us, it's not necessarily, you know, if you call it the pizza guy, they promise to deliver in 15 minutes. If they don't come, you don't have to pay for it. But here, you know, we're being promised something very high that we have little experience of really. You know, what are they talking, you know, bliss, what does it all mean? Knowledge, eternity. Therefore, with what little intelligence we do have, we have to develop it. And therefore, the beginning, when Krishna says that, you know, you should be my friend and my devotee, well, I don't even know Krishna. How can I be his friend? I don't dislike him because I don't know him. I can't be his friend because I have little idea who he actually is. But anyhow, I'm not unfavorable, so I'm kind of a friend, you know, I guess. I don't talk behind his back about him. So give me that much. And, you know, but at least when we hear that this body's changing, but I'm not changing, well, that's quite interesting. That I could be eternal. And it's pretty much, you know, whatever my intelligence tells me, it seems it's true that all of us are eternal. Because otherwise, you know, we've had so many bodies, so yeah, okay, I'm eternal. What next? Because now I'm eternally in the material world, trying to enjoy this body. So what's the alternative? Well, Krishna gives us some alternative, that there's actually Paramatma within our heart. There's someone guiding us. We're not alone. Although sometimes we'd like to be alone. We don't want, you know, we wish that sometimes we could have a little screen and we just put it over Paramatma and he's not watching. You know, time out from Krishna consciousness, Paramatma. You know, give me a little break. Give me a little vacation. You know, they're trying, here in the material world, they're trying to duplicate, what do they call that? What do they call that? The part of America, the spy agency that's trying to.
CIA?
No, that's not it. The ones that they spend all the money on observing everyone.
Oh, the department, the Homeland
DOJ?
Security.
Was that?
Homeland
Homeland
Security.
No, not even that. They have this apparatus. They're taking all the phone calls and they're analyzing them.
AI?
Was that?
AI?
No, that's a
Artificial-
different thing. No, they take they have this huge facility in different places, but they have like all the telephone calls, all the communication goes into that facility and it's all being stored, everything you say.
NSA.
NSA, that's right. National.
Mm.
And National AS, what is AS?
National Security Agency.
Yeah, okay. So anyhow, someone's watching us all the time. Even you go on, you know, go on Amazon, you type in, you know, I need a toothbrush, and next time you go on, you know, there's 15 advertisements for toothbrush. You know, constantly watching. Just like I was at the airport. And now I'm in the priority, this pre-check, which means that you don't have to go through this long line like everyone else. And they get every, you know, penny you have in your wallet to make sure it's not going to explode. Go through the security, you know. So pre-check means that you don't have to don't have to strip down naked in order to get through the security line. They allow you to keep things in your bag. But they take a picture. You have to stand there and take a picture, and they have everyone's face analyzed, recorded, so that they make sure you're not some, you know, threat in disguise. So, there's more and more, but Krishna is in everyone's heart. He knows every thought, he's recording every single thought we have. I mean, he makes the NSA look like child's play. If you want to worry about anyone watching you, Krishna's watching us. And if you want to get to understand why he's doing it and how he's doing it, and if he's doing it, these are all, things that this is what's being explored. Are we free and independent to do whatever we want? Is there actually someone watching us, recording everything we're doing? And why is he doing it? And is there actually a person called Bhagavan who has unlimited beauty, unlimited wealth, unlimited fame, unlimited knowledge, unlimited renunciation? And could I actually experience and actually get to meet him? Is that really possible? So this is all theory, actually. But there's some light of intelligence shined in when we understand we're eternal. We can actually hear and realize there is a super soul within our heart. And we can actually understand there must be a Bhagavan, there must be a person. There must be a person from which everything came from. Otherwise, how did we get here? Because we all had a father and mother, and our father and mother had a father and mother. So when you trace it all the way back, there must be a person who doesn't have a father and mother, where everything came from. And if we're a person, then the original source of everything must be a person also. Otherwise, how do we become a person? So all this is very intellectual. It's all theoretical, but it's theoretical to different degrees, depending on our experience. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says in the beginning, there's some experience, and therefore we become attracted. But we may not have enough experience to actually think that, in other words, it's a trade-off. I take the Krishna consciousness, I get a little knowledge, it makes more sense than anything else. I become convinced that this is good to practice, and then we try to practice it, and then there's some impediments. There's some obstacles, there's some tests that come up to test how much we're really going to dedicate ourselves. Not just theoretical, I'm going to be here forever, I'm going to do this forever. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, when he was younger, he had like 5 or 6 playmates. And then one day they got together and made a society of celibate men. They all promised to be celibate for the rest of their lives. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said that he was the only one who made it. Because, we have more than this Krishna consciousness going on. We have this body, and everyone has their tolerance and their desires. Especially when you say, I'm going to give this up, and immediately the mind says, oh, that's very nice, you're very advanced, you're going to give it up. You're going to give it up. You're going to give it up. You really want to give it up?
It's kind of like, don't look at that. And then it's like, all you can think is to look at it. It's like, you're not going to do that. It's like,
Don't think about it.
Yeah, don't think about that. So like, think about it.
Was it really that bad? Wasn't there a happy moment? Didn't she really love you? Wasn't there love and happiness? Who's this Krishna? Where is he? So many doubts will come because this world is a world of doubts. And it's not that you give up something or you take the Krishna consciousness and then suddenly, there's no more doubts. Oh, yoga is chalati manasa. As soon as we think about becoming Krishna conscious, that's when Maya she said, okay, let's see how sincere you really are. Gop Kumar, if you read Brihad Bhagavatamrita, it's not that when he got in this particular story, by chanting the Gopal mantra, he got higher and higher positions in the mature world. He became a king on this planet, he became Indra, he went to Mahaloka. And Krishna was personally accepting offerings from him. He went to all the higher planetary systems, Jnana Loka, Tapaloka, Siddhaloka, went to Brahmaloka, became Brahma. He went into the coverings of the universe, and there he met different incarnations, and finally got to the end of the coverings of the universe, and the last covering, Maya herself, as sex personified, came and offered herself to him. You know, I don't know. Sanatana Goswami says it took a couple more lifetimes to get to that position. Otherwise, we have no idea, what's material life can actually offer to us in this tiny little planet. In Kali Yuga, where there's not much going on compared to what Maya could offer us. Mystic power. What does that mean? We have no idea what the allurements are, because we're not even qualified to understand them, what they are. So we think, well, I go in the Hare Krishna movement, I'm going to be here forever. There's no more doubts. And then immediately there's doubts after some time, He told me he was full of bliss and full of knowledge. It's been 3 months and I haven't experienced it yet. What is this all about? Not only that, but I'm 3 months older. Time is passing. I really got to find out who won that game. Maybe my girlfriend will join the ashram.
They're right next door, so.
Yeah, so we think, where does that come from? Am I well, it's not a bad idea, is it? Yeah, come to think of it.
Oh, man.
So yoga shadi manasa, as soon as we try to become Krishna conscious, then that's when Maya actually starts working. Otherwise, she doesn't have to work very hard. She's already, surrounding us. Every single thing we learned when we were younger is all about, which of our parents told us, when you grow up, I want you to become a devotee of God. I want you to follow these 4 Vedic principles.
Wow.
It
all.
Whoever thought that we're gonna. I remember when I became a vegetarian in 1968, and I was in Buffalo, New York at the time. I had no idea I knew how to cook because I cooked when I was even a child, but I cooked rice and things like that. That's all I knew how to cook. And suddenly you become a vegetarian. And you tell people, I'm a vegetarian, and they, yeah, sure, right, a couple of months you'll be a vegetarian. And then after some time, you think, well, I had some experience, but anyhow, I was a vegetarian. But without to know what it actually means to be a vegetarian, we have no idea how to cook, etc., etc. It's a theory, but unless you actually get some experience, that beyond the theory, then you can't really keep it up for that long. But still, the theory has to be there, and then the practice has to be there, and we have to accept the fact that as long as we're in the material concept of life, we're going to have ups and downs. Sometimes we'll be strict, and sometimes we won't be so strict. Now, for instance, when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when his spiritual master left his body, Kokashore Das Babaji, then all the Brahmins wanted to take his body, as you probably heard, and they wanted to, at least some of the people that had heading up the ashrams, they wanted to put his body into samadhi, because that way they'd attract people and come and they get donations from it. And they were fighting over it. Now they're all Babajis, those who were fighting over it. And Saraswati Thakur is just a brahmachari. That he wanted the body to be put in proper samadhi. But they refused, because he was just an ordinary brahmachari, although he was the only initiated disciple of Gokishore Das Babaji. So he said, all right. He said that Babaji was, Gokishore Das Babaji was a Paramahansa, and therefore he should only only a person who's completely pure should actually touch his body. So he said that anyone who's hadn't had any sex life in the last year, he can take the body. Is that right? Last year? It seems like maybe that's the...
It says 3 years, then 1 year, then he went down.
Yeah,
6
but-
months, 3 months.
That doesn't seem to make sense.
3
Because
days.
the longer the time period, the harder it would be, isn't it? In other words, anyhow, he was saying if anyone who hasn't had any sex in the last day, for instance, then they can take the body. And all of them just walked away. Does that mean that all these Babajis were having sex every day? No. Their standard was, if you even thought of a woman, that would be considered a fall down. They were they were serious. But they realized that they weren't on that level. In order to do that, you have to be what's called sarasaki. You have to be thinking about Krishna all the time.
Mhm.
You actually have to know Krishna experience. Because Maya is not some kind of like dimwit, kind of just push over and oh Maya. No, Maya is this whole Maya is Shrishti Sthiti Pralaya Shakti. That she's creating, maintaining, annihilating universes. She's not someone to reckon with. Daiviyeshu Gunamayi Mama Maya Dharatya Mama Evaye Prabhajante Maya Etam Dharantite. This is Krishna's energy, meant to put us into illusion. If that's what we want, and obviously we want it, because otherwise we wouldn't be an illusion. We wouldn't be misidentifying ourselves with this body unless we wanted to. If you go up to a tree and hug the tree and say, let me go, let me go, let me go, and someone comes along and says that, my dear sir, the tree's not holding on to you, you're holding on to the tree. You don't understand this. Let me go, tell him to let me go, take me off the tree. No, you're on the tree is not doing anything to you, you're holding on to the tree. But you, your philosophy, theory, take me off the tree. So the material world, the idea of becoming Romeo or Juliet, I mean, it has appeal. Otherwise, why? Even the demigods are even more attached than we are. Because first of all, they have the women demigods are submissive. They're actually women. They're not trying to become, transsexual or whatever. They're not trying to. But and they have materially they're thousands times more beautiful than the women on this planet. So it's not so easy without taking shelter of the holy name. And that may take lifetimes actually to do that, of experience. And the higher we go, the more, we'll see that this material world actually has something to offer from the material point of view. But it may be a shadow, it may be insubstantial, but the idea is quite appealing to us. That's why we came here, that I can actually have a nice home, nice food. I can actually, have a comfortable life, and it's going to be lasting for a long, long time. And the new music will be great. Dream. But that's what we're here for, is to dream and hope and expect and try to enjoy the most we can. And then theoretically, there's, chanting Hare Krishna. But I can chant Hare Krishna. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, and then I forget. this is a place of forgetfulness. Daksha, I was reading a book on Ayurveda. Daksha was I didn't know Daksha was one of the founders of Ayurveda.
Daksha.
Daksha actually taught the Kumaras, the Ashwini Kumaras.
She was father-in-law, Daksha.
She was father, yeah, he was
Wow,
the founder of
Ayurveda.
Ayurveda, according to one source.
I never knew
Yeah, I didn't know it either. I learned it. Right? So he taught the two Ashwini Kumaras who taught Indra, and then Indra propagated Ayurveda to personalities who founded like that Devala. He was trying to help out, so he went to Indraloka. Devarshi. He went to Indraloka and learned Ayurveda from Indra in order to help human beings in this age who are full of sickness, afflicted with sickness. Anyhow, so Daksha was a great Prajapati. He got into trouble because he offended Lord Shiva, and then he got a goat's head, and then he left his body shortly after that. And he came back in another millennium as Daksha again. So Daksha wanted to propagate the universe, because that was his service. Produced progeny to populate the universe. So he did austerity, and then for a long time, and then he offered very beautiful prayers to Lord Vishnu. So Lord Vishnu came in a very special form, riding on the back of Garuda along with many demigods. And Daksha was so ecstatic in the presence of Lord Vishnu, he could hardly stand up. He was in such ecstasy. So when Lord Vishnu came, he said to Daksha, so what can I give you? What benediction can I give you? So Daksha said, well, I like unlimited sex life. Now we may think, this is ridiculous. You could ask, he's in ecstasy. Vishnu is asking whatever benediction. But that's what he was doing it for. That was his motivation. He started out like that. And it was duty. I mean, he was the son of Brahma. That was the duty assigned to him. He was made out of that duty. He must have been at least dozens of thousands of, maybe even hundreds of thousands of lifetimes to get to that position of propagating the universe. So he wasn't about to give it up so easily, just because of a little ecstasy.
Mm.
Besides that, you forget pretty quickly. Once you forget, then, if you forget long enough, because in his case, it wasn't that long, but anyhow, then you think, well, I need some happiness. So, that chocolate bar looks pretty good. It's not a big thing. I'm going to eat it in the back so no one watches me. Who can blame me? I mean, with a super soul, give me a break,
Mm.
Relax, God, don't tell anyone.
So,
It's not like, suddenly we're we surrendered to Krishna, and then, we're in the movement for some time, and now, walking along the street, hey, there's a hashish shop, I might as well go. No, it's not like that. It's all very gradual. Just like gradually we become Krishna conscious, so gradually we could actually go down again. That's how it works. You can become a Brahmin, and you could actually, the whole thing is that, for instance, those who are not Krishna conscious, in Kali Yuga, everyone is more or less born Shudra. Everyone is actually born Shudra. And then by Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, by modern education, one becomes less than an animal. A mudha. So the mudha can actually become a Shudra by chanting Hare Krishna in this age, for instance. One will become purified. So then one develops a little bit of submissiveness to higher authorities. And when they even in the next lifetime or in this lifetime become the qualities of a Vaishya, developing a feeling towards protecting the cows and having a sattvic diet and developing nice qualities towards people and having a nice family life and being a little God conscious and doing all the rituals, going to the temple, and fasting, does just like Raghunath Das Goswami's father and uncle were pious people, God conscious, devotees of Lord Chaitanya. But they weren't, they were right. But you can also fall down and become a Naradama in your next lifetime. Utilize all the nice intelligence you got in a civilized life and utilize it for sense gratification. Instead of protecting the cows, utilize your intelligence so you can open a slaughterhouse and make a lot of money. Or you can advance towards becoming a Kshatriya. An administrator, a serious person who's organizing society for the welfare of others from the materialistic point of view, doing the proper sacrifices to the demigods, so like Ravana or others did, so that rain came and there's prosperity for the society, knowing how the material world. But you can also misuse it and become a Maya Prita Jnana, get so much knowledge and misuse it to prove that there is no God. Or you can go on and become a Brahmin, going towards liberation from live a life full of goodness, freedom from distress. Or you can become envious of God, that I am God. I'm so intelligent, I have so much knowledge, people should worship me. And then you fall into then you become envious of God. Why should everyone worship Krishna? Why shouldn't they worship me too? Yeah, you worship Krishna, but Krishna and myself, we're brothers. We're in the paternal league. So as soon as you can go up, we can go up, and then there'll be an opportunity for us to go a little, utilize it for our sense gratification, for our false ego. Now, we join the movement, I'm a Bhakta, but there's mobility in the movement. Now we think we can go up. Now I'm a Bhakta, now I can actually become the temple commander. People will salute me, commander. And not only that, but now I can become, I get initiated. Now no longer do I have to clean the toilets. Now it's the bhaktas that do it. And now, because now I'm just another, Prabhu, but now I can become a Brahmin. I'm a pure Prabhu. Not only that, but eventually, little practice, a little study, whatever. Who knows? I can become the temple president or the vice president. And after that, the president, sannyas, regional secretary, zonal supervisor, GBC, sannyasi, guru, Shaktavesh avatar.
Wow.
I hope so.
There's no limit, maybe Brahma someday. Not Brahma with 4 heads, Brahma with 1,000,000 heads. Something to think about. So we think there's upward mobility even in the Hare Krishna movement. We think we're making progress by our status, the room I have, my name, what people think about me, who they think I am. I don't even know who I am, but I'm worried about who people think. It's not so important who I am, it's who people think I am. It's all based upon this body. It's upward mobility in the Hare Krishna movement. So it's not that Maya is far away for us, I don't, whenever we see the ladies in the temple, none of them as beautiful as they did before. I know they don't love me. as much as I love them. So we have to realize this is a challenge, and it doesn't get, but after some time, it's, even if we fall down, as Krishna says, and fall down doesn't mean just, be blooped. We used to use the term blooped. When someone disappeared, and someone turned in for the Hare Krishna movement. When I moved into the temple for the first day, there's a devotee named Trivika Maharaj who was living there.
From Orlando?
Yeah.
Oh.
He wasn't a Maharaj at that time. This is 1969, beginning of 69. So there were 3 other devotees living in the temple. Maybe 2 other. There was Jagadish, he was living there.
Oh.
He was my friend from college, Jeffrey Hick.
Oh.
And so there's Trivika Maharaj. He lived upstairs. We had a very small place. And I was sleeping downstairs with Trivika Maharaj, because we slept on the floor. There was no such thing as a bed at the time. And I said, isn't it wonderful that, we're here in the temple? He said, so many people have come and so many people have gone. So then I thought, well, all right, that if anyone left, that I should pray that they come back. So so many devotees came, some people left. So after a while, it took me 10 minutes before I took rest to pray for everyone. I said, I better just take rest. I'm never going to go to the way it's going. I'm never going to get to sleep. But they came, and they'll come back. Everyone is eternal. Everyone has an eternal. I mean, it's not like the Hare Krishna movement. Suddenly, you get an eternal relation with Krishna. We all have one. We're all here to investigate the material world, to see what it's like, go up and down, try out, every possible, drug, or every possible, gender. Nowadays, it's, Kali Yuga showing a lot. Everything is, I mean, what we find abominable, people find wonderful. What we thought was abominable, the society thought was abominable 20 years ago, it's completely acceptable now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if someone could, as Bob Dylan, if you ever heard Bob Dylan, he said something about a machine reading your mind. If someone could read my mind, was one of his.
I have to put my head in the guillotine.
Mm-hmm.
So we may think, well, this is terrible, we talk, but if someone could actually read my mind, it would be embarrassing. No matter how much, whatever illusion they think of who I am or what I'm doing, whatever. But actually our standard is, it's a very relative standard. What we think is someone is completely pure. Another standard of purity, it wouldn't even be acceptable. So we shouldn't get too much enamored by, what our present position is, and especially we shouldn't get enamored what we think, or critical of what we think someone else's position is, because no one is changing their position. Whatever upward mobility or downward mobility we think is going on, it's not like that. Everyone is Krishna's eternal servant, and Krishna is supplying everyone, giving everyone an opportunity. And sometimes it appears that we're being unfairly treated, that for some reason or another, that we're not being given the proper opportunities we deserve, whatever we think we deserve. We're being mistreated. It's not what we don't have no idea what's going on, or why Krishna is doing it. Therefore, we have to learn to, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, first humility, understand our fallen position, and then learn tolerance. Be prepared for tolerance. And not just tolerate, grit your teeth and curse people. In your mind, may your nose fall off the next 3 weeks. No, we have to learn tolerance and appreciation at the same time. And not trying to get appreciated for what we are, who we think we are, or what we think we're doing. It's not even us. It's not us, it's not us. It's all by Krishna's mercy, by the mercy of our spiritual master and Krishna and the acharyas, that we're in such a position we can make progress towards going back to Krishna Loka. But there, everyone is absolutely humble. They're humble not because they're walking around with low self-esteem. I'm rotten, I'm full, I'm a rascal, I'm insignificant. 1/10,000 the size of tip of hairs. If I'm lucky. Maybe I'm overestimating myself. No, they're humble because they love everyone. They're just overwhelmed with appreciation for everyone. And therefore they, compared to them, because of love, they're humble, not because of low. When Srimati Radharani, he walks into the room after being dressed by Rati Manjari or Tulsi Manjari. She walks in to go to see Krishna and she meets her friends. She's just overwhelmed with love for all of them, appreciation for all of them. And when they feel her appreciation, they become overwhelmed with appreciation for her. Because she teaches them how to love, how to appreciate. So that's humility. And from there, one can learn tolerance and further one's appreciation. And from there, then one can actually give up the material world and take shelter of Krishna sincerely. But it's a process. And it can't be done artificially. And everyone is on the path. And different things are going to happen to different devotees at different times. And if we're going to make progress, then we make progress. And part of the process is just like there's Krishna walked into Dwarka, not Dwarka, when he walked into Mathura, then some washerman was walking by with all these nice clothes. And Krishna asked him, can you give us these clothes? And the washerman started to give him some lecture about how he shouldn't take clothes from the king, that he has experience. If you take clothes from the king, then you'll get into trouble. The king will chastise you. So don't ask like that. So Krishna became angry and took his hand, separated his head from his body. Krishna doesn't mess around sometimes. And then he took the clothes because actually they all belonged to him in the first place. But then eventually he came to a place and when one florist came and offered Krishna Balaram very nice garlands, and Krishna offered him any benediction he wanted. So he asked for the benediction. May I have the benediction? Well, he offered him long life and with full ability to use the senses throughout his life. Afterwards, he'd go to Vaikuntha. He'd ask, do you want anything else? He said, can you give me the benediction that I can be a benefit to all of the entities? So when Krishna empowers us, whatever progress we're making, we should just see how I can use this to help others. Rather than to see, well, this person's having difficulty, makes me feel good to see he's in difficulty because at least I'm a little bit better than everyone else, than him at least. So, and I've made progress beyond him. So, no, we should see that if Krishna is giving us, empowering us, then it's for benefiting others. And if someone's in trouble, we should try to help them, not criticize them. Try to say, well, he was always a demon. I knew the guy was a demon. He deserved it. He took up samosa for me one day. It's not the end of his trouble. No, we have to be a friend to everyone. Krishna is a friend to everyone. And try to see things like that. Then we can actually make progress with, the more it's not that we're suddenly going to become, pure devotee, well-wisher of everyone. But we have to be well-wisher of someone. We have to understand, we have to recognize when my consciousness is not in the proper place, when it is in the proper place. And not say, either imagine ourselves be highly advanced, because if we were highly advanced, we'd be highly sympathetic and loving towards everyone. We'd actually be with Krishna. We were highly advanced. And we're not, we're not so fallen. The Krishna is not bestowing some mercy. But this life is short. We shouldn't be complacent. We shouldn't be in completely anxiety. I have to go back immediately. Krishna has to give me all his mercy immediately. No, we should see what's going on and learn tolerance, and above everything, take shelter of the holy name. So that's all we're going to get out of this. Whatever position we have, if we're lucky to come back after leaving this body, the family of devotees go to Gurukul. There is a Gurukul. We're not going to take any wealth we have. We're not going to take any followers. All the yoga exercises I do doesn't mean I'm going to get a healthy body in my next lifetime. We're going to have to come back and start all over again somewhere. But the only thing that we can take with us is the holy name, taking shelter of Krishna. That's the only real reward. Everything else is secondary. As much as we take shelter of Krishna, really take shelter of Krishna, try to become a well-wisher of all the, as Krishna said, Mad karma krit, mad paramo, mad bhaktas, gavarita, yavara sarabhuteshu yaksamam iti pandava. Can you look that up?
1155.
1155.
Prabhupada said the essence of Bhagavad Gita in the Purport on that verse.
Read the translation.
Last verse.
My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me.
Read it again.
My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me.
That's progress. Not what we're going to eat today, where we're going to sleep, who's going to like me, who's going to hate me, what position I have, what my, that's the progress. And it's open to everyone. And of course, I didn't go over that to take shelter of Prabhupada. Find good association where people appreciate Prabhupada is for being that, which described it. But that's a whole other subject matter. Anyhow, I'll stop.
Anyone has any question?
Yes.
Can you say something more about cultivating humility? I'm experiencing lately, like what you were saying about like thinking when I go into prayer and I'm thinking of myself like, oh, I'm so fallen, because I'm experiencing, my mind and all the garbage and everything in there, and my horrible past is not, very far away. And so when I'm really feeling that, then I go to that place of like, oh, I'm the lowest, person. And so I'm hearing from you is like, that's not really humility. Like, can you say something more about like cultivating real humility?
Really, Prabhupada wrote to me one time, he said, the more you work seriously to help bring Krishna's other children back to the spiritual kingdom, and the more he'll bestow all his blessings upon you. Krishna is never ungrateful to our efforts to serve him. Or as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Samam Pashanti Sarvatra, Samavashti Dimishram, Ehinat Yatmanatmanam Tatayadi Paramgatim. Can you look that up? That's chapter 6. Text number, I think it's text. No, I'm sorry, it's 13. Chapter 13. And it's around text 20, I'm imagining.
The first line?
26. Samam Pashanti Sarvatra, Samavashti Dimishram, Ehinat Yatmanatmanam Tatayadi Paramgatim. I'll take it. You will bug me. About 26. It's chapter 13, it's at the end. That's beginning with Text 28.
Oh, 28.
28. They're so similar, I was getting mixed up. Tamam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram mehinasya nam param pashati sapashati. The one who sees the super soul encompassing all of the entities in all bodies knows that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed. He actually sees. Samam pashan hi sarvatra samavasi dhanitvaram. Ehinasyatmanam manam tatoyati paramgati. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere, every living being does not degrade himself by his mind as he approaches his transcendental destination. So this is the basis of real humility. Everyone has a relation with Krishna eternally. There's nothing that, and whatever we think is going on in the material world, that's what's really going on. The soul is desiring properly or improperly in terms of, trying to satisfy Krishna or trying to satisfy Krishna's, this body that Krishna gave him. In any case, he's serving Krishna. And that Krishna is equal to everyone. It's not that we're going to be better than anyone. We're always 1/10, our real identity is 1/10,000th the size of the appearance size right now. We're all prisoners in this material world. But we're all prisoners. And therefore, and even in the spiritual world, everyone is a devotee of everyone else. Krishna is a devotee of his devotee, and his devotees are devotees of his devotees. There's no question of becoming better than everyone, becoming a better servant than everyone. And when I see like that, when I can appreciate how everyone is either directly or indirectly serving Krishna, of course we're trying to come to the Madhyamadikari platform. So amongst the devotees especially, to try to see with appreciation what they're doing, how the devotees appreciate their struggles. And sometimes they succeed and sometimes they don't, but they'll be back. Appreciate their struggling to become Krishna conscious. And at least as Rupa Goswami says, respect them within our mind. So it takes practice to do that. To see with a transcendental vision, we see the way Krishna sees in the Bhagavad Gita, then, there won't be very much room for our false ego. To see everything, this external energy, it's also a pastime of Krishna, bringing people back to the spiritual world. And if I go back to the spiritual world, because I'm going to love everyone, love Krishna and love everyone. So is there any question? And I have my spiritual body, and everyone else has a spiritual body too. So what do I have to be proud of right now? How much appreciation of everyone, how much love and appreciation do I have for everyone? That's what I should think. How much do I want my body and my mind to be appreciated? It's embarrassing. How much am I accepting whatever Krishna brings to me, whatever he gives me, good or bad? And when he gives me something good, how much am I anxious to utilize it to help others? When he gives me benedictions. And when he gives me bad, how much am I blaming Krishna, blaming others, rather than seeing this as an opportunity to learn tolerance and humility. Now, humility is philosophical, and it's real too. And it also comes from Krishna's benediction. So Krishna gives us the realization, not just the theory, but then naturally humility will be there. Then the false ego won't have so much room to convince us that there's some reason not to be humble. That I'm something special, because I have some special body, or some special position, some special identity. No, it won't make any sense anymore.
How to overcome duplicity and see everyone equal.
Follow the process. You become Krishna. Everyone is equal. Everyone is no one's equal to Krishna. And compared to Krishna, we're all insignificant. That's the core of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him not to leave. And you're one of my intimate associates. Harinatha, of course, said, you have unlimited associates. And Lord, he can stand on my head. Don't try and bewilder me by illusion. So indeed, Harinatha, of course, is very dear to Lord Chaitanya. Because everyone is dear to Lord Chaitanya. So we should try to help Lord Chaitanya. And as far as duplicity, as I said, the super soul is watching everything we're doing. So we should be a little embarrassed. Try to be honest, truthful, benefactor of the truthful devotee. And if we see we're being duplicitous, and try to correct it. I just say, well, I'm duplicitous, what the heck, everyone else is too. I'm just part of a bigger club, that's all. What do you expect from me? It's a slow process. Anything else?
Anyone else has a question from the Zoom?
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
This is Jeff. Yes, go ahead, Jeff.
I didn't have a question. I've seen him twice. I met him in DeLand, and I just couldn't miss this episode today because he's so insightful, and I've just appreciated all the words of wisdom he's put to me.
Wonderful.
Hare Krishna again.
Hare Krishna.
Thakur Prabhu. Thakur Murari Prabhu. Go ahead.
Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances that goes to Srila Prabhupada and the devotees. There's a question that we've been, the whole Varna Ashram system, where people are saying that when one comes to the movement, whether we should be really help them to get to the, what do we say, is it psychophysical nature, what they're good at, and so they'll be able to better serve rather than, for example, my body should be preachers, body should be book distributors, that sort of thing. It's something we've been people been talking about on platforms. I don't know if you have any comment on that, Maharaj. Did you understand my?
No, did you understand?
I kind of. Would you like to repeat one more time?
Slowly.
Yeah, so the whole aspect of the Varna Ashram system, yes, so in terms of coming to the movement, whether we should have some facility that whatever one is good at, whatever one's natural disposition, we should have to start develop that in the sense and then that one could be better served rather than, for example, I try to distribute books, but I have some difficulties, but I'm comfortable in other areas. So I'm saying that in terms of one's psychophysical nature, should we encourage that so that one would better serve? Don't know if it's any clearer.
Both can be clear. In other words, if you're not a distributor by nature, you're not a salesman by nature, and you reverse to it, and every time you go out in book distribution, it puts your mind in great distress, so much so that you can't approach anyone and distribute any books. And maybe some other service is better. But eventually, as we make progress, as we get a little bit free from our psychophysical nature, then it's possible to do things we don't like. And actually, if we're convinced that this is important and we get good association of enthusiastic devotees in that service, then we may develop a taste for it. We might even do it. So, but that depends. In the beginning, to engage devotees according to what their talents are. Why should they waste their talents? They should utilize them in Krishna service. But ultimately, when we're a little bit more advanced, then things that we may not be so much enthusiastic about, we might do anyhow. Because it's pleasing to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to Prabhupada. it's beneficial to help others. And we might try that, we might do that too sometimes. But we should learn how to, we associate with devotees who know how to do it, who can explain to us why we're doing it, convince us of the importance of doing it, show us how to do it in such a way as we might become successful, and to teach us how to become tolerant when we're not so called successful.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you.
And thank you too for the opportunity to hear your nature and wisdom. I have a chance to hear you online when I check in the various temples and I'm visiting. So I'm happy now that I'm able to speak to you directly. Thanks for your presentation. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thakur Murari Prabhu.
Yeah.
Any other question? Or no?
Okay.
That's good.
May I ask a question, please?
Yes, Travis.
I feel like I struggle a lot with feeling that I'll never be particularly qualified enough to serve in the propensity that I imagine we can serve Krishna in, because, well, sometimes I think of the past, but then I feel self-aware enough to understand that that's Maya, just like trying to get to me, keep me where I am, keep me comfortable instead of reaching out and fully diving in the ocean of like full 24-hour service. I just need some words for like how to think about our disqualifications. Well, I feel we'll always be disqualified, but we still have to like continue on. But I just need some kind of words on how to think of this.
Well, I don't think we'll always be disqualified. The more we feel ourselves disqualified, and the more we, as one devotee once told Prabhupada, that Prabhupada, I'm the most fallen. And Prabhupada's reply was, you're not the most anything. And other words, he said, Prabhupada, I'm the most fallen. And Prabhupada said, if you're the most fallen, then why don't you do something about it? So this feeling of being disqualified, generally speaking, it might be covered over with also, I'm the most humble. I'm feeling the most disqualified. I'm so whatever. Or we may really genuinely feel I'm disqualified very, but then we should do something about it. There's no, we're eternally the same. We're eternally 1/10,000th the size of the tip of our side. We're eternally being guided by the super soul. So why not take shelter of the super soul? Why not take shelter of his representatives, Guru, Sadhana, and Shastra, and become qualified? Why just dwell on the fact that we're not qualified? If you drown in the ocean, you can't think, well, and someone's throwing a life raft, a life raft, so you can get on board. We can't think, well, I'm drowning, what to do? I'm just a disqualified swimmer here. No, someone's throwing us we should take advantage of it. We should become qualified by taking advantage of the mercy the opportunities that are being given to us to become qualified. Why just dwell on the fact that we feel ourselves disqualified? It is Maya. We are disqualified, it's a fact. But then let's become qualified. We're not going to become God, which is what we think. Well, I'm actually disqualified to become God so far, but maybe I get closer at least. At least I can find someone who's going to believe I'm God. And I can enjoy that. And if nothing else, at least my dogs seem to think like that. That's somewhat appreciated.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Travis.
I have a service here, but I like it, but I feel like I'm breaking too many tools doing the service? Is that a bad sign or should I?
Breaking tools, it probably is a bad sign. Tools are usually not so easy to break. It means you probably have to take a deep breath and do things a little slow.
Really, you breaking clothes?
Well, the first day was a shovel.
Hopefully you didn't hit anyone with it.
No. Second day, the weed eater. I think the weed eater was on its last leg, and then there's a trimmer that got stuck. So I like doing the service. I'm working out at Eco Farm. But I feel bad for Mataji because I hope I'm not oh, I broke a shovel.
Mother Akuti, Dinabundu Prabhu's wife. She takes care of the eco farm.
Yeah, you know, so you have to be a little more careful. Or at least check out what the tools you're dealing with and make sure they're not about to break. So you ain't gonna be blamed for it.
I feel like Mataji is giving me these old tools just to.
Yeah, make sure that it's clear what's happening.
Brother Kuti can be tough.
So you don't feel guilty, you know, oh my God, I'm coming here at least to do some service and, I should at least get a little appreciation. And all I'm getting is these dirty looks.
Maharaj, we are very grateful that you have come. And with your blessing, hopefully they all will flourish. Next time we meet, you'll see them, all of them, never go back home or something. I mean, this is home. So,
Yeah, well, Haridas Thakura, when he entered into the prison after he was arrested for being a devotee by the Muslims, he came into the prison and he told everyone, may you be as you are. So all the prisoners became morose.
yeah.
He said that, you're giving us a benediction, we're going to stay here in prison forever. So Haridas Thakura said, no, you don't understand. Because right now you're enlivened, you're in Krishna consciousness. So my benediction is you may stay in Krishna consciousness. Prison, not prison, that's not so important. The fact that you're in Krishna consciousness, right now, it's perfect. We're all in prison.
Yeah.
Some people think they're out of prison, but this body is a prison.
Yeah.
This mind is a prison. Our false ego is the biggest prison. So maybe we stay in Krishna consciousness, all of us. And if we don't, then, we'll come back. Until, be so much preoccupied with our fact that sometimes we slip and fall down. Like a little child, they're walking. You're gonna fall down sometimes. Parents don't go, hey, you little kid, this is the third time you try to walk. I did it the second time. You're embarrassment to the family. Where this is being recorded.
That's hilarious.
No, just the attempt to walk to be appreciated. It is appreciated by most sane parents. And then, eventually we'll learn to walk. And then he'll dance in ecstasy eventually. So we shouldn't be, I don't want to fall down, I don't want to fall down. You're gonna cause me to fall down, get away from me. I don't like you. You're gonna cause me to make an offense, I'll fall down. Franco Vinda won't like me anymore. No, this is a joyful process. Masucha, don't worry. We should avoid the things that are going to cause us difficulty, but don't Prashadam, this is my enemy, my Prashadam. I eat too much. Get away from it.
What's get Gulab Jamun's away from me.
Someone comes around with the sweets. You're trying to get me to fall down, right? I mean, we should, try the best we can to concentrate on our rounds, try to chant them as best we can, try to do the service, try to have nice relation with think positive how we can improve, not so much, you know, the dangers that lurk in the Hare Krishna movement. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
As
Thank
as Rita Nandavar once said, the brahmacharis were complaining about the ladies in the temple. They wanted them to move, he wanted Rita Nandavar to move them out into, you know, out of the temple. Rita Nandavar said, well, if I move out of the ladies that are all out of the temple, who are you all going to get dance for? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, can you take one little photo of
Yes, of
everyone
course.
together? Okay. We're going to close it. Thank you, Prabhus. Everyone. Oh, Chandrasekhar Prabhu, you had something to say? You have raised hand?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu. I actually raised the hand to do my Dandavat obeisances to on Maharaj's lotus feet. I don't want to miss out to the Dandavat Purnam to the Maharaj. So that's the things, and all the Vaishnavas presenting here, please accept my humble obeisances to you guys lotus feet too. I have one question, Maharaj. How could I understand when my false ego is controlling me?
When you're back in Krishna Loka. You know, for now, how do we understand? Well, we have to understand it theoretically. But, you know, when you're in darkness, if someone lights a candle, you see things a little bit clearer. If they light a flashlight, maybe even clearer. They turn the lights on, then you can see everything clearly. So Kumara, for instance, even when he was Brahma, he thought he was Brahma. When he was in the coverings, he thought he was, you know, whoever he thought he was, Kumara. So gradually our false, the more we identify ourselves, the more we render service to Krishna's devotees, the more the light is shined in our with our intelligence, then the more the false ego will disappear. False ego is the shadow due to the absence of light. So the more light of Krishna consciousness is there, the more we become Krishna conscious, then the less our false ego will affect us.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Krishna, thank you all.
We'll see you all. Now we are going to turn off the Zoom.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Prabhupada ki